Join me as we talk all things true crime.
Made contact and shattered.
The missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and that the mother has went through a wall, came home, now they can't find her.
Chad, where are Lori's kids? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
Most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Once I told a lie, and I told my family, I had to keep lying.
What's your name? Is it Dean?
We haven't cleared anybody.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here for another ATS News live stream. We are doing our continuation of our breakdown and deep dive into Nicole Kessinger's first interview with law enforcement, and it was right away with FBI. So at the time of this interview, it was on day 3 of the investigation. The bodies had not been found yet. And let me know, guys, if you can hear me in the live chat. But it's good to see all the moderators. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. Hi, Jackie, Jen, Shay. Good to see you guys, Zoe. So right off the bat, it took 3 days for Nicole Kessinger, the mistress of Chris Watts, to come forward. And the bodies are still not discovered. She's still labeled as an endangered missing pregnant woman and 2 toddlers at this time. And yeah, that's where we're at. This is part 4. The reason why we are doing a specific breakdown and deep dive of this audio specifically, and hit that thumbs up, guys. It's really appreciated, and it's a free way to help the channel and keep this research going. This interview was done by a hidden microphone in the FBI agent's pocket or somewhere where she had no idea she was being recorded. The audio in this is not the best originally, so that's why we are enhancing it and remastering it to the best of my ability, and it's very tedious work. So last week we took a break and broke down Nancy Grace's most recent interview and episode about the Chris Watts case. So took a little break from this breakdown series that we're doing. But yeah, it takes a lot of work, guys. So I appreciate it. Everyone who shows up and hits the like button. You know, I want to bring something to the Watts community's research instead of just going over the same stuff and just reacting to stuff that's already been out there. Like, I really hope when we're done with this remastering and breakdown, I can put it all together without us commenting on it, and it'll just be like a video upload, and it's going to be the best quality interview of the FBI with Nicole Kessinger out there. So just be patient and show up for our weekly deep dives into this. It requires a lot of breaking down because she changes her statements from this first initial interview. And I just really think that this first interview is very crucial in the story. And, you know, it's interesting. Even every time I break it down and read through the transcript, which let me pull that up, I catch something new that she says. And the takeaway that I took today from editing it, and we'll listen to it straight through after we read it. The reason why we're going to read the transcript is because, I mean, the best work that I can do will still not 100% clean up the static or whatever noise. I'm having a hard time believing an FBI agent would have recorded something with such poor quality, which means over the years I've kind of thought maybe they released this and like added the extra noise, because this is just a very telling interview. And in my opinion, FBI walked away from this case and stepped away from it as soon as they could because of just the shadiness surrounding it. But that's a talk for another day. So let's get into the transcript, which is brought to us by True Psych Ward, Dr. B. In her research, she transcribed this years ago. This is the only transcript of this audio that we've ever been given to the public, and it was done by another true crime web sleuth. And in fact, in the discovery files and through the Freedom of Information Act request, we don't even have a summary report of the FBI agent's opinion of this whole interview, which I think is kind of weird. I would have loved to see his write up of what he thought of this interview specifically. I personally think that he was questioning some of the things that she was saying, and we'll get into that as we go. So let me grab some water. It's good to see everyone strolling in. So this is NK speaking. But at the end of the day, it's like you need space. And I would tell him that. It's like, once you guys have all your paperwork finalized and you guys have decided to separate and you're in your own spot with your kids, I was like, I think on the days that you're with your kids, you need to be with them like full time. I'm not ready to meet your children. He didn't even ask me to meet his children. I mean, not yet. But I told him, I was like, in the future, eventually, if we get to that point where we think we're ready, yes, but I'm not ready to meet your kids. They're not ready to meet me. You're not ready to have me meet them. And I just tell him, I think we should take our time. Like, ideally, I would only like to hang out with you like 2 or 3 days a week. On the days that you don't have your kids, I was like, in the rest of those days, I was like, spend time with yourself, man. I was like, you're in a relationship. You were in a relationship for a really long time. Just like spend time like doing whatever it is that you do that makes you happy, and really try like to take that, responsible approach to getting in a little like that's and of course this is unintelligible because she mumbles a lot too. The only thing I should have waited till like things were officially 100% on paper divorced and got a new house. Yes, that's my mistake. But after that, everything going forward was trying to, and I thought it would be the healthiest thing for him and me, his ex, his children, and special agent. Okay, then you already said you never met his children? Nope. Did you ever meet his wife? Nope. Were you ever at the house? Once. Special agent, once. Okay. When was that? NK. But it was probably second week in July. Special agent, second. Okay. Just that one time? NK. Just once. I had no desire to go over there. I mean, that's like a situation where he's living with somebody that he's separating from. It's not my life. It's like their life. And I sort of tell him, like, the time you spend with me at my house, this is our space. And that's not my space. And for me, I think it's really disrespectful to go over there. And so we stopped by there once, like on the way to my house, and I was there for maybe like 15 minutes. And I saw a picture of her holding her kids, and I was like, she's so beautiful. And I remember thinking, laughter. The little girls are so beautiful too. And we laughed. And I remember telling him after that, I was like, have you ever thought about like really trying to fix things in your marriage? And he was like, I don't really want to. So let me just take a time out from this whole thing. Right now, she's telling the special agent that she's been telling her, Chris, like, are you sure you don't want to try and work on things with your wife? I mean, really though, the special agent is thinking the same thing. Like, why would a mistress be telling this guy, are you sure you don't want to work things out with your wife? Like, I just don't believe that she ever said that to Chris. I don't know if she's trying to come off with like that she tried to take things slow with him or what, but we know that that's just not how things went down. And she contradicts herself as well because she admits that she was the one that pursued this relationship. And she even says, should I have waited until things were divorced and not just living together separated? Yes. And that was my mistake, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I just really think as she's rambling here, the special agent is taking it all in. And I think that he's not believing her on things. And I think he's getting suspicious of her. And the fact that here's another lie, states that she was only at the Watts house one time. And she said that it was the second week of July. We know that she was there on the 4th of July. We know that her phone pinged in Frederick numerous times. So it wasn't just one time. And what could really seal the deal with the proof behind that is if we got more footage and information from neighbor Nate's camera and the Watts camera themselves and their security system. But all that has been sealed and never to be released to the public. Like specifically, there were court orders to seal the Watts home security information and log, which could clear up a lot of speculation of even her being there on the night that Shanann came home at 1:48 in the morning and then disappears. NK's phone pings in Frederick. Was she at that house that day? We could easily clear that up if we got the Vivint records. And the fact that they've refused to release them even after there was no trial and, they released all this other stuff to us. Why is that still under seal? And good to see you, Kelly. Hi, Unravel and Diva Girl, Melanie, everyone else who's here. I'm so glad you guys joined me on a random Monday night. So let's continue this full of lies. Now, where did we leave off? So she basically is saying that she saw a picture of Shanann and the girls and said how beautiful they were. And, are you sure you don't want to work on your marriage? And he's like, I don't really want to. And I was just like, man, like you got a beautiful wife. Like she's the mother of 2 of your kids. So a lot of people have pointed that out over the years too, how she says she's the mother of 2 of your kids. You have to also remember at this point, we're at 25-ish minutes into her first interview with law enforcement. She's playing it off that she didn't know that Shanann was pregnant until the media. She's about to kind of go into that eventually, but it's interesting how 25 minutes in, she still hasn't told the officer that she's saw in the media that she's pregnant. So here when she says she's the mother of 2 of your kids, like I'm wondering if in her mind she doesn't know that she's going to say that she found out that Shanann was pregnant, because we know that that's a lie anyways. We know that you were looking at Shanann's Facebook. The digital forensics show us that you were following from the moment she went missing on news sites and Facebook, and it was everywhere that Shanann was pregnant and missing with the 2 daughters. So 25 minutes into her interview with FBI, she's trying to not reveal that she knows about the pregnancy. I don't know if she's like thinking I'm going to feel out how this goes or whatever, but hey, Roxanne, Dustin, everyone else who's here, TPO. But it's interesting. James says, has Mistress ever complimented another man's wife like that? Doesn't sound right to me. Yes, right, James. I agree. And when you hear the audio after we go through this transcript, like she's like nervously laughing when she says how beautiful the children were. It's very, very troubling. And then there's a part when I get to it in this transcript, and we're going to listen to it, where the special agent's kind of emphasizing like information about, oh, he goes to a gym, and she's like, he works out in, like, corrects the situation, says he works out in his basement, and she's like, I go to a gym, and he's like, you guys never worked out together, and she instantly shuts that down. She's like, no. And then she gets like distracted and it starts talking about like the mosquitoes that are bothering her. So the fact that the special agent kind of pushes the subject of the gym, and she was like, no, 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 he worked out in his basement. Like I go to a gym, but we never worked out together. And oh, these mosquitoes. It just really seemed like she didn't want to be on this topic of the gym, which kind of emphasizes to me more and more the theory that we've all been saying for years now, that we think that they met at a gym in 2017. It seems like more and more I'm leaning that way. I do think that the oil companies' new protocols after the house explosion, like they amped up their training classes and wanted to revamp like everyone getting recertified in their training procedures. I also think that could be linked to them meeting too, but the whole gym thing is still, my gut tells me that they worked out at a gym together. Whether she had her eyes on him or her dad or coworker had their eyes on Chris, like at that oil industry somehow, and then she kind of pursued him, like what gym does he go to, or I don't know. I'm still up in the air about that, but it really does seem like since she searched Chris first before ever searching Shanann, like digitally, like through the data we've pulled, she was after Chris first in 2017. So, all right. So, like, she's the mother of your 2 kids, and I'm like, "You already have all this stuff. Like, you already have the house and the car and the kids and the marriage and the wife," and I'm like, "Are you sure you don't wanna fix that?" I'm like, "Because what if, like, we try to start over you try to start over with someone else, and, like, what if hypothetically, like, we don't work out?" Or you know what I'm saying? Or, like, just any of that where it's like, you should at least give her the benefit of the doubt, you know? And he told me, I try to talk to her about this stuff a few times and it's just not working out. And I'm like, all right, you know? I mean, if you're like trying to separate from her and it's pretty finalized, then I will respect that. But I mean, just being in that house made me feel like he should try to fix it. Like I actually like kind of stepped away from him for a little bit and I was kind of like maybe I don't know. I felt like I wasn't sure if I wanted to like carry on. So this is interesting too. She tries to like tell the special agent that she tried to like be like, "Oh, I don't know about this anymore. Like I needed space from him." You told us this was all only 6 weeks, this relationship. You've also said that you told him like, "Oh, I only want to see you a couple times a week." And she'll go on with Agent Kobach and other interviews about how she likes to have her own time with her and her friends and blah blah blah. Blah. But then she writes up like a synopsis and timeline and all that for Detective Baumhover because the thing is she was passed off from FBI because the children were found. It turns into a homicide, so no longer missing children case. So the FBI stepped back, CBI took over, and then they hand her off to Detective Baumhover, the local Frederick homicide detective. And every single person she told a different story to. So different story to this agent, different story to Kobach, and then all the stories just contradict each other. Specifically, her write-ups to Detective Baumhover versus this interview that we're going over. So we'll have to follow up with the write-ups after we get through this interview transcript, I'm thinking. After we're done with this series, we'll kind of listen to the audio in full and then revisit her write-up that she handed over to Frederick. Okay. And hello, Deco and everyone else. Good to see you guys. All right. He should just try it. Like I actually like kind of stepped away from him for a little while and I was just kind of like maybe I don't know. I felt like I wasn't sure if I wanted to like carry on because I really, with him because I really wanted him to try and fix stuff. And then, he just emphasized to me that there was nothing to fix. So, all right. So we just picked back up where we left off. Yeah. So once. So that was her long answer to how many times she'd been at the house. It's like the fact that you're giving us all this extra information and all that, like, I'm sorry. That and it's besides already knowing that her phone pinged near the house numerous times and Chris in the prison interview talking about numerous times that she'd been there. Yeah. And then she actually admits to Kobach the next day. I told them yesterday that I'd only been there once. I've actually been there twice. So she states once, 3 times here, and that'll be something that changes. Special agent. So that was in the middle of July? NK. Yeah, it was like I think it was like the second weekend of July. I'm almost positive. Special Agent, was the relationship ending by that time? NK, yes. Special Agent, it was. Okay. And then as far as the work truck goes, were you ever in his work truck? No. NK. I don't know which one. I know which one it is, but I've never been in it. Special Agent. And then I think I asked you this already, but the white vehicle, I know he drove that, but were you ever in that white vehicle one time? Okay. Can you just tell me about that? NK. I'm trying to figure out where we went. I think it was like something quick. We take my truck everywhere. It was a while ago. So right now she's trying to dance around, how many times she'd been in Shanann's Lexus. And she's saying that, it was a while ago. A while ago. You How long and how short is this 6 weeks in your mind? Because a while ago, when this is August 15th, it was it a month ago? Like the answers are just, that the agent is thinking like this is all over the place. I don't remember where it was at. Like, I think it was somewhere quick. Like, I think he had to run an errand or something at the grocery store, and we just, like, took his vehicle, but other than that, like, never. I was always in my truck. If I can remember, like, when that was, I'll let you know, but it wasn't anything like we were going on a date. It wasn't like it was anything, it was like nothing. I think I said a quick trip to go somewhere, and he was just like, "Hey, I'll drive." Okay. Isn't that nice of her to offer? If I remember when it was, I'll let you know. Oh, great, because, we have a missing pregnant woman and 2 toddlers. So if you could help us narrow down, the story here, that'd be really nice of you. Special Agent, that's actually the other question. Have you guys ever done a vacation together? NK, yep. We went to the sand dunes. Like, mumbles. It was pretty recently. Well, a couple weeks ago. Special Agent. How did that go? How long was the trip? NK. We went for a day. We left Saturday, came back Sunday. We stayed one night out there. Special Agent. Do you think anybody knows that you guys were going on a trip together? NK. I think a lot of people knew, but they didn't know who it was with. Special Agent. So what, your side or his? NK. Nobody on my side. I mean, people knew I was like going to the sand dunes, but my friends don't question that. I was just like, I'm going to the sand dunes for the weekend. And then I'm pretty sure I asked him, I was like, does anyone know you're going to the sand dunes? And he said yes. But I don't think he told anyone. It would be with me. I think he told them it's with some other people. So, Special Agent, and you're pretty confident that he didn't mention you? NK, I don't think anybody in his life knows about me. I really don't, like, at all. I gotta be willing to say, like, 100%. I highly doubt anybody knows about me. I just don't see it. Special Agent, what about social media? NK, I don't have it. Special Agent, do you guys? I have nothing. So there was no interaction like Facebook Messenger? NK, nope. I don't have Facebook. I have nothing. I literally nothing. I have an email and I use it for like general purposes, but we never even emailed. And that's another lie. Okay. Give me 1 second. So we know that work emails got exposed between these two. So again, why are we lying about little things like that? I don't even use it. I haven't for a long time. I recently deleted my LinkedIn, but that was for like, yeah, I don't have Facebook or, and then this part is even the transcript here. we could barely make out what the detective's asking, but she ends up like saying it was basically like, do you have any like letters or anything like that between Chris that he had given you? Yeah, she just lies to lie. All she does is lie. She was never confronted about it. I know. This girl is so proud of her alternative lifestyle. I know. But the fact that like she really tried to think that they weren't going to get the emails and all that, it's like, why lie about emails between you two? Especially because we've seen the emails between them. And yes, I do believe that they're staged emails, but they weren't anything that was like damning or anything more than what she's already stated to this officer. Oh yeah, she was. And honestly, when Chris talks about NK in the prison interview, like he kind of paints her as like crazy. He never painted Shanann as crazy. It wasn't until this year basically where he's trying to say like how controlling Shanann was. In the very early days of the investigation, like besides Shanann being blamed for killing the kids, which came from Agent Tammy, fed to Chris, and Chris caved and finally gave in and said, "Yeah, that's what happened." Chris never like was bad mouthing Shanann. And then this past year, I would say, is when he kind of came out saying how controlling she was and stuff like that. So I don't know. Okay, let me go on. So anyway, so she ends up saying, "I got a card from him." And he says, special agent says, "A card? Okay, anything in that is different or stands out?" NK, "No, I mean, it was just like kind of sappy, but it was not like anything out of the ordinary for people that are like dating. It was a birthday card." So here's another lie. Chris sent NK more than one cards. I used to have a video on this, and I don't know how it happened, but I accidentally deleted it. Let me see if I can pull it up on Google. But basically, her birthday is the first week of July. Yes, there was a card from Chris. Hold on, let me share my screen. We'll take a minute from this transcript. So this is the birthday card. It says, "A year of stuff you love to do, a brand new dreams to make come true. One that brings smiles, laughter, and fills your heart with love long after. A million moments day by day that simply take your breath away. Have a birthday as wonderful as you are. This sums up you. Big things will happen this year. Dreams will come true. The smile, that stare, that laugh, that giggle gets me every time. You are truly an amazing, inspirational, and electric woman that takes my breath away every time I see you. You are wonderful. Don't ever stop being you. Happy birthday, Chris." So this is dated the 3rd. Your energy is so insane. You heat me up, you make me melt, and then you cool me down like rain. So this is the card that she just mentioned, right? She said, "He gave me a birthday card." But why did she leave out these ones? So here's one from the 30th. So this is why wouldn't she tell them about this one? Like, why are we hiding things? Hold on, let me share my screen because what is the big deal? Like, just show them this one. Wow, where do I even start? The first day I saw you, you took my breath away. Wait, he already said that in the card we just read. Wow, Chris. The first day I had the guts to talk to you, I got lost in those stunning green eyes. The first day we hung out in the park together, I knew I was addicted. The first time we kissed, I knew I had met the most amazing, unique electric woman. Electric again? Chris, you're saying the same thing in the 2 cards. Woman ever. We have a lot of firsts together, Nikki, and I want to keep having those with you. All night till the sun comes back. I want to love you, want to love you like that. Love, Chris. So why are we lying about cards? So I had a video one time when I first started this deep dive into things. And I kind of questioned, wait, why can't I pull up that other card? Hold on, guys. Because there is another card that is suspiciously similar to a Valentine's Day card. Don't you guys think this one looks like a Valentine's Day card? This was what my video was about that oh wait, hold on. Here we go. Don't you think that this looks like a Valentine's Day card? This was a video that I made up a while ago. And it was questioning the timeline, of course. They claim it was 6 weeks. To me, this looks like a Valentine's Day card, but yet it's dated the 30th, right? But we just looked at a card that was all white that was dated the 30th. So Chris gave NK 2 cards on the 30th? That was something that I always wondered. So in my theory, this is a Valentine's Day card, which means they knew each other longer than 6 weeks. And she forged the 7/30/18 on there before handing it to law enforcement. Because these were cards that she did end up handing over. After she just told FBI that he only gave her a birthday card, she hands over all 3 of those. 2 of them dated the 30th of July, and then that 1 birthday card. So my theory is this is a Valentine's Day card, and she traced the 7/30/18 from that white card that I showed you and read you, and made it seem like this card wasn't a Valentine's Day card, and actually this card is actually, just another love card that he gave her on the same day that he gave her that white one that we just read. It just doesn't make sense,
To determine that was a lie.
All right. So back to the transcript. Are you guys following what I'm following or what I'm saying? That was just a theory that I've had for a long time. That was kind of more circumstantial evidence or something to back up my theory that this was much longer. Back to the transcript. Special agent. Okay. And then I know he was going to the gym and stuff, right? He got into working out. NK, he's working out at his house in his basement. I mean, he wasn't fat. Special agent. I'm sorry. I got a figure two. So we'll both get set up a little bit. So you obviously work out. And then, do you guys work out together? NK, never. Special agent, never? Never went to the gym. NK, nope. I go to my gym and he works out in his basement. He's got like a setup on there. So this little gym part here, you got to remember, this is day 3. So they have the financials, the bank statements between Chris and Shanann. They have his phone. They have all this stuff that could have pointed towards Chris having a gym membership. Like this special agent is like pretty positive that he works out at a gym. He said, I know he was going to the gym and stuff. And yes, he says, right, like he's asking, but I believe that the special agent had information to confirm that Chris was going to the gym. And here you can see NK walking back quickly that Chris never went to a gym. It was only in his basement. And no, they never worked out together. Special agent, did you ever see him, raising his voice, angry or threatening, anything like that? NK, he is one of the most gentle and kind men I've ever met in my life. And then that's where the audio cuts off tonight. So let me play that audio for you guys. And again, the main reason why we have to go through this transcript is even though I can clean it up a little bit, I don't want to change the conversation. So some of it, the static and stuff is still there, but it's much better than it was prior. And I really think that it adds to our deep dives because it is so much better to listen to. Yeah, why didn't she get charged for false information? Lying to an officer. Give her a charge for lying to police. Why didn't she even get that? Like, send Chris away. We're fine with that. Throw away the key. That's fine. But she deleted information. The district attorney came out stating and admitting that she hampered the investigation. Hampered is just another word for impeded, literally in the dictionary. So he can use word salad all he wants. You are telling the public that the mistress impeded the investigation. She deleted evidence. She lied to police. And here we go. Nothing. Yeah, lying. It's a federal crime. She lied to state police too and to local police. But yeah, let's put the FBI as, the standard of that's a no-no. Right. At the very least, they could have charged her with that. But why didn't they? All right. So this is, hold on, let me add it. If you have headphones, I recommend using them as well.
It's like you need space, and I would tell him.
Somebody asked if I could add closed captioning. I'll see if I can do it while I'm playing this audio, but I kind of explained in the first stream that we did of this that you can turn on closed captioning through YouTube for this audio, for this interview, because it's already out there, but it doesn't pick it up accurately. You guys have seen that like in other cases too, but specifically this one, like it has her saying like things that she's not even stating. But let me see if I can do that while we're live.
At the end of the day, it's like you need space, and I would tell him that. It's like, once you guys, all your paperwork's finalized, and you guys have decided to separate, and you're in your own spot with your kids, I was like, I think the days that you're with your...
Oh, and I have the the brown bikini. I know you guys love the brown bikini pic, specifically Johnny and Debbie in chat. And I also thought something was, have you guys ever seen Forrest Gump? I know sometimes I compare Chris Watts to Forrest Gump. Just looking at NK and this brown bikini reminded me of a scene on Forrest Gump. This one.
She tastes like cigarettes.
Kids, we need to be with them like full time. I'm not ready to meet your children. He didn't even ask me to meet his children. I mean, not yet, but I told him, I was like, in the future, eventually, if we get to that point where we think we're ready, yes, but I'm not ready to meet your kids. They're not ready to meet me. You're not ready to have me meet them. And I just tell him, I think we should take our time. Like, ideally, I would only like to hang out with you like 2 days, on the days that you don't have your kids. And I was like, in the rest of those days, I was like, spend time with yourself, man. I was like, you've been in a relationship for a really long time. Like, just spend time, like, doing whatever it is that you do that makes you happy, and really try to, like, take a responsible approach to getting in a relationship with someone. That is what I did. Was try to, did I avoid until he was on paper divorce and moved out of the house? Yes, that's my mistake. But after that, everything going forward was really just me trying to do it in the manner that I thought would be the healthiest for him, for me, his vets, children, and his daughter.
And then you already said that you never met his children. Nope. You ever meet his wife? Nope. Were you ever at his house? Once. Okay. When was that?
But it was probably the second week in July.
Second. So it's just that one time?
Just once. I had no desire to go over there. I mean, that's like a situation where he's living with somebody that he's separated from. It's not my life. That's their life, you know? And that's why I tell him, like, the time you spend with me, spend at my house because this is our space. And that's not my space. And for me, I think it's really disrespectful to go over there. And so we stopped by there once, like on the way to my house. And I was there for maybe like 15 minutes. And I saw a picture of her holding her kid. She's so beautiful. And I remember thinking, like, God, your little girl is beautiful too. And we laughed. And I remember telling him after that, it was like, have you ever thought about, like, really trying to fix your marriage with her? And he's like, I don't really want to. And I was just like, man, like, you got a beautiful wife. It's like, she's the mother of 2 of your kids. And I'm just like, you already have all of this stuff. Like, you already have the house and the car and the kids, the marriage and the wife. And I'm like, are you sure you don't want to fix that? I'm like, because what if you, like, try to start over with somebody else? And, like, what if, hypothetically, like, we didn't work out? Or you know what I'm saying? Or, like, just any of that, where it's like, you should at least give her the benefit of the doubt. You know, and he told me, try to talk to her about all this stuff a few times, and it's just not working out. And I'm like, all right. You know, I mean, if you're trying to separate from her and it's pretty finalized, then I will respect that. But, I mean, just being in that house made me feel like he should just try to fix it. Like, I actually, like, kind of stepped away from him for a little while and just kind of, like, maybe, I don't know, but, like, I wasn't sure if I wanted to, like, carry on because I really, with him, because I really wanted him to try to fix stuff. And then, you know, he just kind of says to me, like, there's no fixing it. So, alright, so we just picked up where we left off. But, yeah, so what? Long time ago.
Okay. And so that was in the middle of July.
Yeah, I think it was like the second weekend of July. I'm almost positive.
Was the relationship intimate by that time?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Okay. And then as far as his work truck goes, were you ever in his work truck? No.
Just know which one it is, but I've never been in it.
And then I think I asked you this, but the white vehicle. I know he drove that. But were you ever in a white vehicle? One time? Okay. Can you just tell me about that?
I'm trying to figure out where we went. I think it was like something cool. We take my truck everywhere. It was a while ago. I don't remember where it was at. Like, I think it was something quick. Like, I think he had to, like, run an errand or something at, like, the grocery store. It was just, like, his vehicle. But other than that, like, never. I was always in my truck. If I can remember, like, when that was, I'll let you know, but it, like, wasn't anything like we were going on a date. It wasn't, like, it was, like, nothing. I think it was, like, a quick trip to go somewhere. It was just like, hey, I'll drive, okay.
That's actually going to be the other question. Have you guys ever gone on vacation together?
Nope. We went to the sand dunes, like, it was pretty recent. A couple weeks ago.
How'd that go? How long a trip was that?
We went for like a day. We left Saturday. Came back on Sunday. We stayed one night out there.
And do you think that, or did anybody know that you guys were going on that trip together?
I think a lot of people knew, but they didn't know who it was with.
So on your side or on his?
No, nobody on my. People knew I was going to sand dunes, but my friends don't question that. I was just, I'm going to the sand dunes for the weekend. And then, I'm pretty sure, I asked him, I was like, does anybody know you're going to sand dunes? And he said yes. I don't think he told me it was with me. I think he told me it was with some other people. So.
Yeah. So you're pretty confident that he didn't mention you?
I don't think anybody in his life knows about me. I really don't. Like, at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd be willing to, like, say, like, 100%. I highly doubt anybody knows about me. I just don't see it.
What about social media?
I don't have it.
You don't have any social media?
I have nothing.
So there was no interaction like Facebook Messenger?
Nope. I don't have Facebook. I have nothing. I literally nothing. I have an email. I use for like general purposes, but we never even emailed. I don't have social media. I haven't for a long time. I recently deleted my LinkedIn, but that was like Yeah, and I've had Facebook or since like 2016. I've never had like Twitter and stuff. So,
What about mail? Any type of letters, written communications? I think you figure out your letters or anything saying.
I got cards from him.
Cards? Anything in that is different, stands out?
I mean, it was like kind of sappy, but it was not like anything out of the ordinary for people that are dating. It was a birthday card.
I mean, I know he was going to do gym and stuff, but he got into working out.
He was working out of his house. His basement.
He worked out.
Mosquitoes are bad.
I'm sorry, I got hit here too, so yeah. So we're both getting bit up a little bit. Obviously, you work out. Okay. So, did you guys work out together? Yeah. Yeah. That went to the gym.
Nope. I go to my gym and he works out. Yeah, I just got up. Yeah, so.
And then, did you ever see at any time or was stating that was angry, threat, anything that
He is one of the most gentle and kind men I've ever met in my life.
All right. So that was what we just read through with the transcript. And honestly, I seen that one comment in chat. I won't even bother like pulling it up because it's further back, but I'm noticing things when I enhance this audio that the transcript and that the original audio never even picked up. Like when she says like no a few times about being in the house, and other episodes we pointed out other things that we never heard before. So I do think that it's beneficial even when the moments are just, you can't clean it up. They're talking and the static is going, and I can't take the static out because then it takes out the words. So let me pull up before we conclude. Wanted to kind of revisit a little bit of this.
And my hope is, honestly, I love what the family's doing, and I want to make sure we.
So this is from my documentary that I did a couple years ago, but it definitely, people say like, what's your theory, this and that. Like, it doesn't have much of my theories in it. It's just very factual. And
lives for a long time to come.
but yeah, so this is Shanann's teacher speaking. It's not what I wanted to play, but it comes on right before.
I think.
I just can't believe that he did it.
Story of Chris and Shanann Watts. It wasn't over. In fact, it was just starting to unfold. And I have a suspicion that made some people really nervous. Was she a hero in this story? Is it possible, like Shannon's parents believe to this day, that she tried to help Chris? But when it all started hitting the wall, she got scared and bailed. She was.
So again, this was 2019. Shanann's family was in contact with Dr. Phil numerous times. They were on the show. They helped him with this podcast. His research in this podcast comes from his conversations with the family. And I want to remind everybody, they initially were on board with NK helping or having more to do. And then their opinion changed. And that's on them. That doesn't mean that my opinion is going to change. But I do think that it's interesting to kind of remember back. And I don't know if anyone was following the case with me back then, but when we were all on the same page of wanting to find out more and thinking that the mistress had more to do with it, like we really, I think, thought that we were going to make headway. Like, oh, she's going to get arrested. We're all feeling this. And then it never happened.
Was never arrested or charged. Is there more than meets the eye with Nicole? Sure, she had been helping police. It seemed like she was on their side, not her lovers. She told them Chris had confided in her that he was no longer in love, but
and very quickly, NK went from talking to the FBI about that last thing that she said in that audio and transcript we went through was, he is the most gentle person I've ever met in my life. So why did it go from talking about Chris being very worried? Remember last time we went through this on episode part 3? He seemed genuinely concerned that his family was missing. And then all of a sudden, the next day, the bodies are found. Well, that night after this interview, and then NK kind of changes her tune and throws Chris under the bus. Until those bodies were found, she was kind of defending him in ways. And then the next day when she talks to CBI, then it's, he told me, that he wanted to pawn the wedding ring, and I told him pawn it. And other things that she changes her tune on. So it's very interesting that right off the bat, she wasn't throwing Chris under the bus in that FBI interview. And as far as Dr. Phil saying that she was participating and helping in the investigation, they always say that in the mainstream media, but she took 3 days to come forward. How is that helping? 3 days in of a missing pregnant woman and toddlers, and now you're coming forward? Not very helpful. And not only that, then remember at sentencing, the press conference afterwards, the district attorney says, we believe for the most part that Nicole Kessinger was forthcoming. For the most part? If you're Shanann's family and you're hearing the district attorney say that they believed for the most part that she was forthcoming, terrible. Florida says, I think she was an accomplice to the murders. I agree, Florida NK was the mastermind. So many people say that. So many have said that. And, people have said it even worse. And Annette, we have no proof of any SA that took place or even consensual sex that took place between Chris and Shanann. We actually have no DNA evidence in this case. That in itself should trouble you guys when we have a sketchy mistress involved. Oh, she wasn't involved. It was Chris. He acted alone. Chris did all this. Okay. And the DNA that backs that up? Well, they were found in oil. Yeah, but the defense team said that they had a DNA specialist who believed that he could still touch DNA off of the children. And the judge denied that expert the ability to swab the necks and the bodies at the autopsy. So, things were just shut down in this case that is very questionable. That's why we're still here.
Investigators, not the prosecutors, but the investigators, they weren't quite done. After all this, they went back in to interview him again, one more time from prison. So what was their reason for this additional question? They got everything they can get, right? So why talk to him again? Well, we don't know for sure, but we do know that it would not make sense for them to be talking to him about further culpability on his part. He pleaded guilty. They had recovered the bodies. Shannann's parents had a theory. They strongly believe the reason the FBI went into that prison was because of none other than Mistress Nicole. Shannann's mother claims she believes investigators went in on a mission to get Chris to roll on his mistress.
And here's the other thing that is very, very questionable to me more and more over the years that I look at this case. And people have been mentioning this one thing since the beginning. The fact that nobody went to identify Shanann's body and that they were just told over the phone the identification. The reason why I say that is we don't have the full autopsies for anybody in this case. They have not been released to the public. We have some pages. We have asphyxiation as the cause of death for Shanann, But that doesn't mean that there weren't other things that were done as well. And the reason why I say that is because Chris is asked numerous times in interviews if there were, markings on her, or gunshots, and all this stuff. Like, I mean, we can go through them and point them out. I know we've already done a prison interview series on the playlist, so check the playlist for that breakdown. But they asked him in that, and he said no. Why are they asking him these questions? Was there more going on between, like, with her body that we just don't know about, basically? I think that it's still up for debate. And yes, I completely agree with you, Florida, like about the children being in separate oil bins were because they were carried up by two different people and dumped simultaneously. I agree. Makes the most sense. Something we've been talking about for years. I think this channel specifically has come out with these theories in collaboration with the moderators who've been following this, like Florida Bass Fishing and CDT's channel, all of that. The parents identified her, but they didn't go in person, Kelly. They were told over the phone what she looked like. So isn't that strange? And when we're talking about an investigation of this magnitude closed down in less than 3 months with a plea deal, I don't know. A lot of secrets in this case. Florida says, and I think the kids weren't supposed to initially die. I agree. And they became collateral damage after their plan failed. And I think they were dumped on Monday night or Tuesday while all eyes were on Chris. In Florida, why did it take until Wednesday night? Like, if they knew where Chris was by Monday evening, because they knew that he was at work all day, his managers, everybody at the oil company complied and helped in the investigation immediately. They all knew where he was that day. Why did it take till Wednesday night to find the bodies? Did they find them earlier and they just wanted to play this out, like with the interviews, and act like they didn't know? Because, I mean, he only went one place and you guys know where he went. Why didn't you guys find them on day one? Why did it take till the end of the night on day 3? And not only that, it's very, very questionable when we know that a coworker who lied to police was there on Tuesday and lied about being there. So we have a coworker who has lied, admitted to in his interview, and he was at the crime scene before you guys got the bodies out. And the reason too is, why don't we have a time of death for anybody? No time of death. And the thing is, if this went to a trial, 2 medical examiners would have given their estimate of a time of death. What if they didn't say Monday morning when Shanann got home, like the district attorney has told us all this happened? It's shut down with a plea deal. We'll never know. So I question it, because you can't say that questioning it is wrong, because we'll never know. On Dr. Phil's show, the mom asked, does she have, so this was allegedly the conversation between Shanann's mom and the coroner or whoever called her. Does she have black hair? And is she beautiful? And they said yes. And she said, that's her. So she was never seen by anybody, like in person. And I don't know if they had an open casket for Shanann. They claim that they couldn't for her or for the kids, because they were flammable or something. Yeah, they were too busy covering things up. Everything is so sketch. Yeah, I just think it's very, very interesting. I'm looking at the original 2,000-page discovery right now. Yes, I have that too. Yep. It's very interesting, isn't it? There is no statute of limitations on murder. That's right, but there's evidence in this case that I believe they've tossed out. They are not saving certain things. I know. Don't get me started on Troy McCoy. He's another rat. They wanted to close this case so fast. Never seen anything like it.
He did not, at least not yet.
One of the things that's kind of left me scratch my head about this case is that anybody that would play fast and loose with their marriage, I'm still thinking that the police are entertaining the thought that there could be other parties involved. You have to at least explore that.
Deco says, didn't Shanann's mother say he has a GPS in his truck and she'd be at his work area, something close to that? She was on the phone the same day. Am I remembering right? So yeah, he kept telling Sandy, and he says it in the body cam footage too to Officer Coonrod, that he needed to get back to work and that he needed to go look for them, or should he go out looking for them? And when that was said to Shanann's mother, she was suspicious of it because, of course, it's a weird thing to say, like you need to get back there. And she started thinking, I think she either thought it or had a dream that they were in oil. So, yeah, that's where that comes from. Yes, absolutely, Kelly. I know. That's why I'm glad that we can do these weekly meetups, because I know you guys, when I was out on maternity leave for 10 months, I was getting the comments like, please do more Watts streams and we want to talk about Watts, this and that. So it's a lot of stuff that's ever evolving into more and more questions. Nobody has the unredacted one. Maybe you could ask that person in chat to email it to you. The thing that we have I'll have to link the links. They're in my Facebook group. So the Facebook group is posted in the description box. You can join the group and then you can find the links in the group just by using the search bar. The only thing that's in the original discovery link that you can't find anymore that we have is NK's full phone records. So you're not going to find the pictures that were redacted, like of the hair on the hatch, the chicken breast, the thermometer. Like nobody has those pictures. And if they do have those pictures, then email them to me and I will take that statement back. But people claim like, I have the original discovery link, I have all this. No, you probably think you do, but you don't.
And so that brings us to this issue of individualization of evidence. And one of the things that we go to now, particularly, is DNA sample. And I want to know, we've heard the term cohabitating, that these people are living in this dwelling together, they're domiciled there. But is there some kind of outlier that is coming into this home that may have had contact that helped facilitate some of these events that's not part of the familial unit? So that's something that we would want to take a look at.
Boy, that lady at work's probably shaking in her boots right now if that's the case, because if she were ever in that marital bed and there's any DNA to prove it, that just puts her square in the middle of a murder trial, doesn't it? But media.
Okay, so I have this documentary linked in the description box. Watch the full thing, and I'll link it in the comment section below. But yeah, I mean, when this case was ongoing, everyone was like, okay, well, if NK's DNA is found at the house, that's troubling. Well, we never got the DNA in this case at all. But what we do have is a phone ping placing her near the house that morning at 6 a.m. So Shanann gets home at 1:48. Let's just round it up to 2 a.m. Why is the mistress pinging in Frederick that early when she never has before? And it's only 4 hours after the wife got home. But yes, very sus. Yes, Jay. That pretty much sums it up. But yeah, guys, so we've done our hour deep dive. Anything else you guys want to say before we conclude? And we will reconvene hopefully on Sunday night. And the thing is, too, Melanie, like we could easily say that she wasn't there if you guys would release this home security log. Everything that was gathered on that home security, like even a month leading up. She claimed she was only there 1 or 2 times. Okay. You know that they have more information that they're withholding from the public. Even in our prison interview breakdown that we did this series, like years ago at this point, we picked up on them editing that audio. So you think that you guys have everything from that prison interview? Like you don't. That was heavily redacted as well. So. Oh, no problem, Jay. Appreciate you guys all being here. So glad you guys all could catch too. If you guys trust me, if anyone has this, the only reason why I'm saying that I don't believe that anyone has the original link is because people over the years have stated they have the original link, and we've broken it down, and CDT and Teresa from Criminality and I have been like, no, this is the same thing we've already looked at. And I have a really photographic memory, so I could easily scroll through it and know if it was new stuff or stuff that's just not out there anymore. But yeah, I'd love to see those redacted pictures. You know, why were there pictures that were released to the public that they suddenly took away and we weren't allowed to see them anymore? All right, yeah. Until Friday night. Actually, I'm hoping to maybe go live during the week on Hidden True Crime, Lauren Matthias stuff, because we can just sit back and just kind of hang out. It's not a serious live stream where I have to research and talk super serious about it, but I do think that it's an important topic because it's just abusing the legal system and law enforcement and pretty much being a fake victim when there's real victims out there who need the resources that Hidden True Crime Lauren Matthias had manipulated. That's a whole other topic. But yeah, so we'll see. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Watts lives should be 2 hours. There's a whole playlist. There's a whole hours and hours of, in case you want to hear more. The pictures of the vomit on the stairs. Yeah, where are those? Where is this stuff? In fact, even the word vomit and the mention, Lisa, and it's good to see you, of the vomit, they took that out. So when the first discovery files came out, that's when we discovered that somebody had thrown up at that oil site. There was vomit. We never got the vomit tested. And then they took that off. They said it was between like the catwalk and stuff, which is like the walkway in between the oil tanks. Why? Why are we taking that away? Right. And if you guys are saying that the children were deceased, then it can't be theirs. No, they didn't test it. How is that not a thing? Well, the thing is, this whole investigation was just dumped. Oh, he's going to plead guilty? Perfect. Hide all his secrets. He acted alone? Perfect. Let's frame it to the mainstream media and in our release of the files that it points only to Chris. And then we all got everything and we're like, wait a minute. What's this? What's this? What's this? This isn't... Chris did this alone? NK and Jim were sick, admittedly sick. Breathing in the oil fumes. Look it up, guys. You can pass out. Like some of these oil workers, they breathe the fumes in and they pass out in the oil and die. Like it's a very dangerous like depending on what your job specifically is in the oil industry, like it can be very dangerous. Last I checked, Deco, yes, Tammy is still with CBI. And she's up there. She definitely got some props for her work on this case, and they definitely promoted her. And she's continued to rise in the ladders in CBI. All right, guys. So join me Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night for sure. You might see me during the week too, live streaming on Hidden True Crime. And I might upload some videos too. So I might watch that P. Diddy show on Netflix that just came out and make a video on that. And other uploads. So if I'm not live, but you see a video out by me, like watch the video, hit the like. Really helps out the channel and it's totally free. So I will talk to you guys very soon. Hold on, let's do this one more time.
Detective determined that was a lie.
Just because it suits NK and it suits Chris and it suits the district attorney and law enforcement in this case and so on and so forth. So bye.